Legend 55.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. It's Marumo Gallants 1, Mamelodi Sundowns 1. Umdlalo weBetway Premiership eBloemfontein namhlanje. Sundowns dropping 2 points. As sijonga results last season where Sundowns collected 6 points against this team. So I can say it's 2 points dropped for Sundowns because everyone expects Sundowns to walk over teams like Marumo Gallants because that's what they normally do. But namhlanje they played to a 1-1 draw. Lindo Pep,
yeah.
I'm good, my brother.
Yeah, man, nothing bully technical team. But I'm going PSL namhlanje Shane. Kunama reshuffling. There's reshuffling everywhere. Head coaches are being dropped. People's days are numbered. Yeah, people's days are numbered. Nala go iDiskiTV straight to drop Utso as a head coach. Straight to drop as a head coach. Susu Mr. from technical director. Men's head coach. Utso and it's demoted to second assistant. Ngisahlele lapha esipanini. You understand? Other than that, Shane, yeah man. Draw game, of course. I almost said congratulations because that's how I normally open. But let me saying. I think Miguel Cardoso's days are numbered at Mamelodi Sundowns. Miguel Cardoso's
very bold
days are numbered at Mamelodi Sundowns. And I think you heard the fans last week. I always emphasize this, Shane. And I mean, again, I spoke about this guy when he came into the country, so we don't have to do an I told you so moment. But the most important thing is what the fans want, right? How the team is playing. There was a period in the game where Sleli no tune and we felt like nothing about my phone, Shane. It's on my Instagram.
Something so unusual.
Yeah, like There's something not right there. There's definitely something not right there. The body language of a player, the body language even of a coach. I saw him after game. He goes to the referees and he's attacking the referees. Okay, maybe let's not use the word attack. Maybe that sounds harsh. But you can see he's complaining for a decision that never happened, that was not in his favor. But from maybe a tactical perspective, Shane, you're looking at the Mamelodi Sundowns that plays it 3-4-3. In position of the ball, out of position, but 4-4-2 basically. For me, they're using two strikers. They overloaded the midfield with Usale as being part of, or is a member of the midfield, which makes it a 4. In that midfield today, in my opinion, I think a player that played very well, Marcelo Allende. Marcelo Allende was making those horizontal deep runs as a midfielder, more especially on the left-hand side, Yaga Mabucha, because Mabucha, they identified one thing. Sometimes as an analyst, and in those analysts, you might find that they identified that he probably doesn't have the right tactical discipline. He's also slow. Maybe we can try something there, because every time they would bring him wide, Allende runs into channel. That's where the first goal comes. Look at that pass from Marcelo Allende straight into a kind of like Ikram Renas pinpoint pass. The guy scores. Mauti Ikram scores. That's the Ikram scores.
2 chances, 1 he will score.
He will score.
Or even convert both chances.
Ikram Renas scores goals.
That's how lethal he is.
He is very lethal. Give him the big bucks. In my opinion. We need a striker that scores goals, and he's one that we have in the country. You're looking at Jaden, in my opinion. There's something wrong with the boy. Body language-wise, I don't know what's happening with regards to him from a personal perspective. But I think that he needs to understand where he is. He needs to understand that he's been bought with a lot of money. There's a lot of belief. I for one, vouched for him. There was a period where I even said he must go to Orlando Pirates. But I speak highly of Jaden. I like him as a football player. But the idea is for him to improve. Maybe when we have time, I can advise where he can improve. And the things that I feel when I'm watching his game, where he can improve. Unsung hero, Cupido at the back. Left centre back, played very well in my opinion, guiding Umalubonga Koza. But also, Marumo Gallants, you have to give Alexandra Latif credit, Shane. And why you give him credit from a tactical perspective? He didn't play with the striker today. Udlalo Ndlondlo as a false 9. Nah, Udlala 4 in midfield. So Ndlondlo becomes part of that midfield. But what you check there is that in position of the ball, Shane, Ndlondlo joins, Musendane and the other winger boy who was playing on the left. Musendane very dynamic, he's quick, he can run behind the defense. Very dynamic, he's got a goal in him, he's got a pass in him. Ndlondlo played one of his best games. ever since Shane ahambe ku Pirates. He played very well in the national team ku Chen. He took that form.
That form
was
was
an idea ku Marumo Gallants. I think he was the best player on the pitch in my opinion today. From a passing ability, akayicomplicate game yakhe namhlanje bekalicabuza. Thinta mntana msiphume.
Alifuna ukuqhawula Lindo ndifuna uqhubekeke but lento ka coach ukuthi adlalise uNdlondlo as a false nine. What do you think he wanted to achieve? Because I believe Marumo Gallants they do have strikers, but he decided to play uNdlondlo as a false nine. What do you think was his plan? Into befuna achieve kulo mdlalo namhlanje.
Yeah, Shane, number one, he wanted uNdlondlo out of position because he knows that Mamelodi Sundowns is a team that builds out from the back. So he wanted a midfield press, but also out of position as well. Stick no tapes. There was a period in the game where I saw he was pressing Utebza and they made a vertical pass. And then he went for that press and Watumela Ulentuzu Umpambaniso to say stick no Tebza. So number one, without the ball, make sure that the 6 doesn't play. Why? Because he's the one that advances the play. In Mamelodi Sundowns, Utebza is not just a defensive midfielder, he's a deep lying playmaker. So he's the Yonkin Tikalagui. So if you block that initial first pass, then it will limit creativity. That's why Mamelodi Sundowns didn't create a lot of opportunities. And it looks like it's a forensic situation in my opinion. Orlando Pirates did it, Ngotito Maswangai. Kaizer Chiefs did it as well. It seems like now when you want to play against the Mamelodi Sundowns, you must man Marco Tebs. Menu Tebs, I always tell you, Shane, is one of the players that I can pay my money to go and watch. I think he's an exceptional in terms of being a professional. I think he's a top midfielder. Currently, my opinion, best player in the Betway Premiership. In my opinion. But you're looking at his midfield as well. I think Jaden today began complicated the midfield. I think the one who was playing very well, one who was progressing in midfield, one who was advancing was Umaselo Allende. But I was just picking a tactical, what I believe that Marumo Gallants did today. I think in position of the ball, what they were looking for is that they were picking their moments. And they knew that they've got deadly wingers and 2 number 10s because they didn't have a striker. So what impressed me the most, Shane, is yes, every team can be defensive. But when they had the ball, they knew exactly what to do. And you have to give the coach credit. You have to give the players credit for application. Because Shane, Undlondo today looked really good. He was progressing when he needed to progress. I like the boy Msendane, man. There's something there, Shane. There's something there in that boy Msendane. And every time when I watch him in big games, it's like not just taking some fun. He always wants to show up. And also out of position, Shane, they would drop the line very deep. There was a period in the game where West Pegelele low block. And these are the challenges that Miguel Cardoso had to deal with. How do you break a low block now? Which is a challenge that Pizzo Rulani had to deal with.
Before uyafuna ndokhumbuza something.
Ngikhumbuza.
Disayikhumbula ngoku. Umsendami, do you know ukuthi who said this boy will not play kakhulu eBotswana for iJordan Galaxy? Do you still remember the person who said akazodlala kakhulu?
When?
Do you still remember?
No, let me be honest. No.
He played for Jordan Galaxy, Umsendami.
I don't remember.
He scored against Orlando Pirates with Champions League, you remember?
Shane, we watch 150 games
I
this
know,
season.
but moment.
Okay.
You said Umsendami will not play for Jordan Galaxy next season.
I said that.
And the following season, he was signed in South Africa. He's here now.
Yeah, no, no. And sometimes if I my players so when I play certain players when I finally ntwana Stellenbosch bedlala weekend. I think it's going to be a top midfielder. That boy, it's going to be really, really good. The boy bekadlala kuSkukune United as well, number 11. But man, let's give credit to so many players. I think the back four Marumo Gallants were solid. Credit to the midfield as well. I like Unklapo. There's something I like tactically there that the coach did. He played a 4-4-2, Shane. And then Undlondo was a false 9. But he used Unklapo. And Unklapo gave him a double position. Without the ball, Shane, because we spoke about them on the ball. Without the ball, it becomes a 5-3-2. You understand, Shane? Because Unklapo sometimes can either be a midfielder, he can either be a fullback, he can either be a centre back. So in terms of positioning without the ball, they didn't need much for him in the ball. But without the ball, he played a crucial role because the coach had the ability to change the structure, to change the system within the game. He knew that, okay, if Pafunugus are wide, we stretch the fullbacks and then Unklapo Angene will become a 5. If they come central, we make it a 4. Then say lock. So that was a good tactical game plan, and also having the ability to say allow them to have the ball, but when they have the ball, we pick up our moments. The most thing that we can do is pick a pass that goes behind the defense. I think this whole season I've been speaking about this since the season Khalil. Just play the ball behind the defense. And opportunities are there. Good goal from, okay, it's an own goal, but I like the action that happens before the goal. The goal in Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, Ikram Renas always scores. But to be honest with you, Shane, there's not really much to say. It's a draw game, I guess.
What do you think is happening there at Sundowns? Because I spoke earlier no Junior. He said Sundowns are Safan. I see the Sundowns are Khelile. Now we know with the Sundowns ukuthi idlala kanjani.
Yeah.
Sundowns is a team that will create so many opportunities. Yes, they do have most of the position because at some point I saw Sundowns completing about 560 something
for sure,
passes.
they do. Yeah.
Marumo was still on 211. So Sundowns is a given. They will have more of the ball position, but they're not creating enough.
Because of the type of players, Shane, also.
But this is a team, Lindo, that has the best players in the country. But where do you think the issue is?
Shane, I cannot give you a direct answer. To where the issue is. But for me, maybe how to answer this question, I would answer this question to say, we are in an AFCON year.
Okay.
We need a Mamelodi Sundowns that's performing well. Not result. We're not speaking results here. We need a Mamelodi Sundowns performance. We need a Mamelodi Sundowns that's performing and not just performing at their best. Why? Because the Mamelodi Sundowns is a national treasure. Mamelodi Sundowns has players that matter. Mamelodi Sundowns has players that us as a nation we are relying on them. Hey, we need to put out the performance. Shane, they've got some important players in that team that represent the national team. Yet we can't break the confidence. Ronza, Tebogo Mkoena, Oprim Diba, Kolisho Mudao, Grant Kekana. So the list goes on. The list goes on. You know. But anyway, my bigger point here is Mamelodi Sundowns has important players in the team, and for me, I spoke about the soul of the club. The soul of the club is what makes Mamelodi Sundowns. I'll repeat this again. Pirates has the fans. Chiefs has the fans. Pirates has the history. Mamelodi Sundowns is Shushain and Pian. And for me, that's where the fans rely on. That's what they can hold on to. And for me, whatever that's happening with the sporting director, I've said my opinion about the guy. I don't need to repeat myself. But what I can end this by saying is that Miguel Cardoso's days are numbered at Mamelodi Sundowns.
That's Lindo Nkosi saying insuku zakho Michael Cardoso as baliwe Mamelodi Sundowns if a performance a club I improve because it speaks about the soul of Mamelodi Sundowns. Says if this team I perform it to the best of their abilities, that might affect Bafana. If Ukoliso is not performing, if Utemza is not performing, if Uronza is not performing, if
Reyners,
they're not performing, there might be trouble for Bafana. But namhlanje besise Bloemfontein where Marumo Gallants played to a 1-0 draw against Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns second on the log with 15 points, just 1 point behind first placed Isikukune, who won last night. But Mamelodi Sundowns won, Marumo Gallants won. Thank you so much for watching iDiski TV.
Shapunjan bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiski TV. Tanko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi bafethu, I'm a coach for life. They are back in winning ways. Please, I tell you to subscribe to iDiski TV.